Welcome everybody to the Lodestone update. Today is going to be version 4.1. We're going to be showcasing to you what has changed with Lodestone and what we plan on doing in the future. For starters, we have updated our plugins. So now we are able to have a loader instead of standard jars that we distribute every couple times we update. For loaders, all you gotta do is just download the single jar and drop it on your server. From then on, you are now able to update to the latest version of any plugin without the need of doing it yourself. If you ever want to stay at a version, for example, like say on a production environment, then you are able to go to one of these plugins that have a loader. So for example, let's go to name tag, right? So then we're able to go to plugins and then the plugin's name, and then click loader.yml. If you ever want to specifically stay at a version, let's say, so for example, name tag, we can go to versions over here and then choose a version that we want. You can also go down here to review the past releases that we have if you want to stick to that. So now I want to, let's just say I want to stay at 1.0.84, right? So we can click view blob and then bring that version number back to our panel and then change loader version to this, right? So now we are specifically sticking to this loader version. And if you ever want to stick to our up-to-date releases of plugins, you can stick to the alpha channel. So for example, we are constantly updating recap, right? So we release a bunch of alpha versions that you can use in your servers. Remember that this is very experimental. This should not be used in a production environment. Only if you're doing it for like your own scheduled time or whenever you want to test out new features to help the plugin thrive by reporting bugs and features that you want to add. So let's go to amplifier, go to versions, and then we want to use this alpha version specifically. So we're gonna go here, click copy version number, and go to amplifier loader. See, already loaded in. So if you want to be able to use alpha channels, you can. So change this to alpha, and if you want to leave this to auto, you are able to download the latest versions of our plugins. Other than that, you are able to specify a specific version of alpha that you can use. Copy the version number, go back here, and paste it in there. Save that, and then reset your server, and then you will forever stay at that alpha version. That is the update to our Lodestone products. So for any plugins that are maintained, such as name tag, bookshelf, amplifier, barrier, etc., you are now able to stick to the up-to-date versions. And that means that you're able to update all the servers that you own without the need of downloading a new jar to replace on every single one of your servers, which actually helps me a lot because I own at least 20 servers that I have to update from time to time. It's very annoying. So I'm happy to release this to myself and for you guys as well. Next up on the Lodestone 4.1 update, we have updated our whitelisting for servers. A big tedious thing is that if you were to own multiple servers, for example, I have Observer, Recap, Barrier, Chest, Painting, Lectern, all of these premium plugins, all tied to the same server. The annoying part is going to each and every one of these plugins to change the server IP or change the server and attaching it to every single one of these plugins. Now we've completely migrated that to the new version, which I will show you guys how it works. So if you log into our website, you can go to the top right and click server whitelist. It'll take you to a page that brings you to this flow chart looking thing that you're able to link up servers into our plugins. As you can see, we have a bunch of servers here, right? Completely linked up to every single one of these plugins. And now I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So let's create a new server, right? Today we have testfolia 26.1.2. So I'm gonna grab the IP over here, go back to server whitelist, click new server, and then do testfolia 26.1.2, paste in our IP and port, click add, and then now if we go back to our graph, it is over here. So what can I do next? I want to be able to whitelist testfolia 26.1.2 to every single one of these plugins because it is a pain in the ass if I were to do it individually. So grab this node over here and drag it over to barrier, and then drag it over the chest, right? Scroll up here, drag it over to observer, zoom out a little bit more, drag it over to lectern, recap, and then drag it over to painting. So now we have testfolia 26.1.2 whitelisted on every single one of these plugins without the need of going to every single one of these plugins and whitelisting the server by itself. Everything is linked into the single dashboard. But I know, of course, this looks very, very confusing. So if you ever want to, you can go back to plugins, you can find a premium plugin. So let's filter to paid. And let's, for example, I want to whitelist servers on barrier. You can click configure, go back to the dashboard, and everything is filtered to only barrier. So you no longer see the other plugins. And you can drag and move them into their own clusters for visualization, and then drag, for example, Salmoon needs to have his part working for Barrier. And there you go, right? Same thing with Bob the Snowman. You are now able to whitelist everything into Barrier. If you ever want to delete a connection, all you gotta do is go zoom into one of these and then click the connection towards that. It'll sever the connection and you will no longer whitelist everything. And that there is the update to Lodestone 4.1. We are trying to optimize everything for scalability, and in the future we will be updating a lot on our infrastructure in case of outages like these. The big part is that data was very much lost. We've switched server hosts, so thank you to Prism Nodes for sponsoring Lodestone. We couldn't have done this transition without you guys. So thank you guys. If you guys ever want your own server host, you can check out prismnodes.com. You can use code Lodestone for 30% off. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.